All right. Let's see how it looks this time. Load in. Because I can't think of it. I didn't change any settings or anything like that. Oh. 36 frames. That's still really bad. Why? What's going on? What did I do? What did I do to you, PC? What did I do? The only thing that's happened is this images thing. The picture is hooking into a different drive that it was before. So what if we just delete that this exists? Let's just remove this. Remove. Yeah, I've already checked Task Manager. It's not that. Whatever. We're just gonna roll with it, guys. We do seem to have gained frames. We're at 40 now instead of 15, which is still very low compared to what it should be, but hey. All right, we got a squad. That's cool. So we're all meeting up. All right, finally, we can get going. Sorry about all this random nonsense. Look, OneDrive has recommended it come up again. Why is it doing that? Why did we just leave the squad? What is that? We had a squad. Somebody send me a squad request again? Yeah, so I'm sorry about that, guys. That's totally thrown me off. It's throwing all the conversation we were having off and everything. Hopefully this is fixed, though. Tell me if I go robot or anything. The thing I'm mostly scared about, I don't care so much if we have a low frame stream. I'm scared of it going crazy with the encoding issues. And then, sorry, I just left that party. And then it makes me a robot. That would suck, and I really wouldn't like that. We got a squad here, but we can't invite you. Could you try joining? Well, yeah, if I see the... There we go. All right, good. All right, so let's do it. Let's unlock our elite specialization. This is a section that a lot of heroes on their challenges, on their journeys will have to do. And I guess we'll start off. I want to actually get moving now because it's been a little while. We haven't really done too much. The pictures were too cringy. Yeah, so I think I've just got a message from River on Discord as well, explicitly saying, hey, yeah, that Kanak and East thing was, I think it was already shown on one of their streams, one of the dev streams, and I just didn't realize. So they're not claiming that as their own. It's interesting, though, that someone else had the same idea. And that they wanted the two. And East needs to protect our reputation. Oh, so we don't actually have infinite gliding, so we've got to be careful with this, which is kind of funny. So we already got the mastery point that was here. We didn't stop for the hero challenge that was below. So if we did this before, we wouldn't even have to run on this one. But that's fine. Oh, did he just kill the ogre? The other thing we're hoping to do while this is going on, guys, is earning just a little bit of cash so that we can buy some food to start ourselves off, because that's the other little thing that we'd need. And I mean, if someone's watching this wants advice for stuff to do, you can run Wing 4 and maybe get a challenge mode or two done and get tons of food from that. Also, I was looking at NG rotations and things. There's a few things actually I learned last night about the NG rotation. What do we do now? We're low down, so we're probably going to have to waypoint somewhere, aren't we? Target identified. Should I just follow the tag? Is that what we're going to do? I'll do that. So, yeah. Very interesting things about NG, power NG. Number one, blunderbuss I should be using, and the big old bomb I should be using. Both of these skills. Yeah, there is no tag. Why is there no tag? Does nobody want to have a tag? Does nobody want to... Nobody wants to lead the way? Should I lead the way then? I don't really know how to do it, so it wouldn't be particularly efficient. We'll go this way. Yeah, you do use the powder keg just on damage, on demand. It means that you get less accessibility for those break bar special fights. Oh, someone said that they tagged down. Where anyone can step up and become the tag, can't they? Oh, look, they're all over there. Where's the tag right now? They're in the bottom. Okay, so they're doing that again. But yeah, so basically the rotation is you use this big old bomb and the blunderbuss together. And then you swap back to your bomb kit for your autos. So that's pretty interesting. The other thing as well that's even crazier is grenade kit is almost exactly on par damage-wise. So using the grenade barrage, using the shrapnel, the freeze, and the poison grenade, and swapping between two kits, all of those is almost exactly on par with instead running personal battering ram and just spamming this skill, the skill 4. The damage on this is huge. It's like 2,000. It's massive when you've got all your buffs and stuff on you. It's crazy how high this actually is. And so you basically can just stick in bomb kit going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then just dropping this off of cooldown. And then when Big Old Bomb comes up, you just go Blunderbuss, Big Old Bomb. And that's the whole rotation. Just spamming these two, and then going back to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's even easy. It's extraordinarily easy. Can we actually glide down to this now? Is this a thing? Is this where we're going? It's a really, really interesting how on par those are. Can we just channel it? Because this, Heart of Thorns release, this was one of the coolest ones, and then they nerfed it. What is my CPU and GPU, please? Do you know what? I don't even remember exactly what my CPU is right now. But I'm on a 1080, which I bought last year, or whenever they came out. Which you really don't need for Guild Wars, and I kind of regret that I did, but hey, there you go. I regret nearly every tech purchase I ever make. But yeah, I have a 1080. And the CPU, it should be in my About section. Literally, you can scroll down on the stream to read it. It's not out of date, or it shouldn't be. If you want cash, don't just delete half the stuff WP has said I shouldn't have deleted that for. Yeah. Alright, so now they're all the way up there. I've already got that one, so that's fine. So that's good. Basically, the goal here for total newbies who are watching, you probably know already by now that you train these as you level. Well, we want to train Scrapper. The ones in the jungle give you 10 each. So it's a really, really efficient, fast way of getting your traits and things. So our goal is to finish this wheel off by doing as many Heart of Thorns hero challenges as possible. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. And I'm going to try and get back to the tag and see them as they go around. And yeah, everybody basically goes to the easiest ones in the jungle. Again, I don't think this should take more than 2 hours, which is incredibly regrettable to me, by the way. Big part of my Heart of Thorns review is talking about this aspect of the elite specializations. Once you have a lot of masteries, you can use this alchemist's thing to go up and down. But they're just down there doing the same thing I did a second ago. So I'm just going to kill random stuff. But yeah, I'll show you what the battering ram looks like. And it's crazy. The grenade kit is slightly more damage. But in a realistic world, this is probably more consistent damage using the battering ram, just because it's so much easier. This is probably what I would rate on, the battering ram. There's a lot that I was looking at with NG. Now that I've got sort of, we're at the end, I was looking at last night. It makes me really sad about some of the implementation. You guys have got no idea how close... Oh, this is weird. I should have tools at the bottom. Sorry, I'm used to having tools at the bottom. Let me put... You guys have no idea how close, like, Gadgeteer should be to being better to run than Adrenal Implant or the Kinetic Battery as well. Like, I even tried that, but you lose so much damage trying to proc evades to double cast, like, battering rams and stuff, which would cool down in 10 seconds anyway, or even less if you have Alacrity. Oh, I've got to be a bit quicker, right? Shit. Okay, they're moving fast. Oh, my thing is out of date. It still says a 980 down there. Okay, on Twitch it might. On YouTube, I think it should be up to date. I definitely updated one of them. It's crazy the RAM's actually usable. You're impressed? Well, you don't use the regular RAM, but you can for break bars. And that's nice as well. That's actually an advantage this has over Grenade Kit. Grenade Kit doesn't really have any satisfying answers to the break bars. And if you're using Big Old Bomb for just damage, then you're not going to have that too frequently either. But if you're running battering ram, you can at least roll with this, and you can run the overcharge shot at the same time on demand whenever you want. But yeah, the battering, it's amazing. Like if you try the rotation out, if you do, go against the golem, there's barely 1,000 damage difference between running the two different things. Like this is so on par with the grenades. It's crazy. It really is wild to see. Because, I mean, this is a huge chunk of damage. 2.3 is what I think it does with 25 might. 2.3 thousand. Or is it 2.6? It's crazy high. There's a lot of things that I regret, though. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're unresable. RIP. Oh, no. We got to run all the way back now. There's a lot of, like, there's a lot of regrettable stuff, though. Like throw mines... They would be good if they didn't have such long cast times on them. And throw mine's really awesome. Like, look, check out the throw mine, right? Like, just throwing the mine, massive spike of damage, is also a gadget. Also, if they buffed Gadgeteer and sorted this out a bit more, could be really interesting to run. But also the tool belt one, that's 5 mines, each doing like 1.2k base before they crit, which is really good. 5 of them's awesome. But it's a second cast time. And you have to double cast these. You have to throw it and then trigger it to explode it as well. So there's just, it's really annoying. It's really unfortunate. They just need like a little bit of love. Can it? I mean, I knew nothing about NG, and within maybe 2 hours, I think I came up with some fairly meaningful, risk-free changes that class this class deserves. But they, you know, they haven't even got that. Anyway, for PvE anyway. All right, let's commune with this. That was really nice of them to wait for people who died. Oh. Anyway, so we got that. But yeah, NG bubbles around about power NG bubbles around 30,000 damage, but it also gets pinpoint distribution, which is equivalent to like 2 to 3% more damage for all your Condi players. So it's a bit like Warrior in that it can look low damage, but a lot of the damage that they do is offloaded onto, you know, improving the allies, right? And Warrior, obviously, much more so, because it's the Might bot, it's the Banner bot, and it's got Empower allies. We only sort of have an equivalent of Empower allies. But, you know, I think it is very meta right now to, just as we said when the patch came out, that to run a Condi subgroup and have an NG there. A perfectly executed Condi NG is, like, top stuff for small hitboxes right now. It was before the patch as well, as far as I understand. It's just more pronounced now. Do we have to climb up? I think we do. I think we do have to climb up. I'm getting distracted here, but I think we have to glide and follow them where they're going. But yeah, this is a nice build. It's better than a lot of the other ones. Not all of them, but yeah. Very comfortable. The second there's any movement in the fight, the second you have a bad tank, the second, you know, there's too much pressure or whatever, Condi NG drops off massively while this one doesn't, which is cool. A rant is a gentleman's monologue on certain Discord. Dude, I imagine you reading that comment there. That's a real Fedora comment, that is. Hey, this is the last area of Verdant Brink we needed to explore. Wow, I didn't realize we'd done that much. How am I doing? I'm doing good, thanks, Sakranaz. Very, very good, thank you. Nice to have a nice little Monday stream. Cap the week out. There we go. I'll show you the battering ram, because we get break bars here as well. I won't activate that. This is not my hero train. It's his. So I'll treat it as, you know, people would get mad at me if I wasn't winning potatoes and I did that, so I'm not going to do it. So basically, we would break his break bar with these, right? But then the rest of the rotation is we're running bomb kit ones. And it's just basically spamming these 3 skills here while autoing, these 3. And whenever this one comes back up, you just go back to your rifle. That's all it is. And you just keep spamming them. So now his break bar's up again. So what I could do is, it's kind of lame when you don't have, oh, well, I was too late with that as well anyway. But yeah, so you got your break bar on demand. And yeah, you use those 2 together. I don't know why I got knocked back there. But the blunderbuss, if you look, it's kind of a complicated skill tooltip to look at. But damage at very, very close range is super high on blunderbuss. Super, super, super high. It's like another like 2k base. So as long as it's more than the bomb auto, it's going to be an improvement. How many? We don't have any Heart of Thorns mastery points right now. I wonder whether we can actually do this glide here. I don't know where they're intending to go, but we're going to fall out of the sky very soon. We're falling now. Don't know whether we'll make it. I'm going to go onto the log and then run along. Otherwise, we will never get to that updraft. This guy's going low anyway, I guess. A Corteria rant is always 15 minutes away, to be fair. It's not always 15 minutes away. I don't see any reason why we'd rant about Corteria today. Any at all. Just my hopes and dreams. See, this isn't even a fight anymore either. Will I miss NG when I'm finished with Zero Terror? I think I will a bit, but I'm going to play it on my main account. You might see a stream, once Zero Terror is over, you might see a stream where I play Heart of Thorns story on stream. Not with any real regard for the story, but I play through it for Kaludbolg Origin. And that would be on Power NG. I really like Power NG just for running around in the open world. In that sense, it's a lot like Reaper. You know, the DPS is mediocre, like a Power Reaper is very mediocre DPS, right? For a raiding scenario. But when it comes to playing in the open world, there's a lot of joy you can have on that build. I feel very similar for Power NG. Power NG is even better in raids than Power Reaper, right? But, like, there's something so fun about it, especially when you run grenades, right, in the open world, and you launch that barrage at people and the static discharge lands, and you just nuke shit so hard. It's awesome. It's really cool. But so, yeah, the grenade rotation is, I think, slightly better, but it's sort of golem better, probably not realistically better. It's so much easier to just tap a button on your tool belt than it is to tap a button on your tool belt and swap into this for this, this, and this at periodic, you know, intervals or whatever. We got that. We're now kind of, because we don't have the mastery points, we're going to train, we're just going to keep swapping between what we train here. This is funny. I'm experiencing for the first time a lack of hero points, mastery points, which is what most people complain about. And I can kind of see how they end up with this perspective, because this is very rush, rush, rush. What about this one here? Are we going to kill the vampire? I don't really know what our plans are here. But there we go. Depending on how good this commander is, you know, look at this. We're already a third done, guys. We're already a third done. Oh, my voice sounds a bit different right now. All right, we're going to Malagan's Valor. I don't have that unlocked, so we have to walk there. Probably best to walk there from Noble Ledgers. What's today's forecast for Ara? Shitty. What? Is that a quote of mine? No. Is that a quote of mine? Yeah, I know that people sneer at Power Reaper, obviously. I kind of want to see what the new thing... that people have been talking about something where you use the Greatsword 4 on a power build or something. No, on a Condi build, sorry. I don't know what that is. That's kind of interesting. That is a quote of mine. I don't remember ever saying that. The quote thing is really cool. I'm so glad we have that set up. I'm going to hit a branch if I'm not really careful here, so. Or a root, as you can see here. Let's run streamlined kits again. And keep powering through. You got 1,000 gold today at gambling. Oh, that reminds me. Somebody sent us a mail. I'm not on my main account, so I can't see their name. I'm so sorry. I sent them a lovely response, a thank you, blah, blah, blah. But someone sent us a bunch of ecto for decorations and stuff today, which was really awesome. Like, they filled up the mail with ectos. And they said, oh, I'll do it for a giveaway or for the guild or whatever. And I was almost tempted to ecto gamble with them, but no. Let's not do that. I'd rather not gamble other people's money. Right, what's the best way up, though? I don't actually know. I'll follow this guy. I love this little area of the map. This is cool. We should play a game. Did WP say the quote or not? What, just add fake quotes in there? Don't do that. That would kind of suck. How can you overcome this big wall known as a legendary crafting? It's for people who are dedicated to the game, who play the game a lot and want those super end-gamey goals. You know, for a new person who comes into Guild Wars 2, there's so much that they can do before they even need to think about a legendary. Hit max level is the first goal that most MMO players will tunnel vision on. Then there'll be finish your elite spec, which we're doing today and is kind of arbitrary now because of all the nerfs. Or buffs, depending on your perspective to the acquisition process. Keep going, I guess. We can walk up this slope. I don't know. I don't know what the balls we're doing here. What if we hit this? This updraft looks promising, right? I'm going to try it. If we can hit that updraft, it should take us up. Yeah, get your elite spec. This is all assuming you like your first character. Come on, ArenaNet, thank you. Then finishing your fractal progression. Getting raid ready as a thing. What else is there? There's loads. There's loads you can do. There's absolutely loads before a legendary even comes up. Like, getting to fractal scale 100 is a pretty sincere goal. Your endgame goal is watching WP winning. Or just making tons of ults. You don't really do that anymore, Inks, right? Or do you? I'm not really sure. Alright, well, we're here. We have to account for some biases here. We're kind of privileged. The commander's waiting for us, which, you know, if we were a totally random player, we might not have that luxury. But I don't know whether other commanders would anticipate you to have all the waypoints or not. For expansion pack 2, would you prefer taking an existing level 80 character through, or have the chance to start a new character based in the expansion location, just such as in the Guild Wars 1 expects? Well, this isn't going to work. Wherever they want us to go now, we're going to fall to our deaths. Geronimo! We'll land here and see how it goes. Maybe if we get onto that updraft. I'm going to wait for the bar to charge here. We need every little bit of endurance we can get. Alright, here we go. Oh, they're going for that one. Is that better? No, I'm going to go directly. I think for the game to be successful, I think that when an expansion releases, there needs to be a feature in there that gives new players a comfort that they've got, like, that it's a good time to start playing the game. I think expansions geared purely at veteran players and nothing else are a terrible idea. And I don't think that a level 80 boost hits that criteria. I think that there definitely should be either a new class, as we saw with Heart of Thorns, or a new race, as would be the logical thing to do now. It should be with an expansion. If they don't do that, I think that they're making a huge mistake. Because a new race gives new consumers, you know, the perspective, oh, hey, I won't be the only new player. There'll be loads of new players, and we're all going back to the start. You know, it's kind of like that soft reset idea. We're going to try and... I think that a new race is very important. Maybe we should try and go to the left. I don't know whether I can make this, guys. We don't have lean techniques, right? Let's try. Let's try. If we land on this tiny little ledge here, here we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Oh, man. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know whether... Don't let your dreams be dreams. I kind of want a rifle 5, but I'm so scared. Oh, I didn't even have the rifle up. Oh, they've all left. No. Oh, my God, he's using the teleportation gun. Oh, what legend. What hero. Oh, my God. Beautiful. Now can we get up? Yes! Oh, we had to work hard for this one. Oh, my God. We're still not there. We still haven't made it. Round this way. There we go. Woo! Jesus Christ. All right, we're there. So on that topic, if they're not going to do a new race, yeah, maybe all new leveling zones. The thing is that it's one of those things where the established player base will never understand, in general, won't understand the value. People only understand the things that appeal directly to them, not things that benefit the game as a whole. Right, which is why people bitch about, you know, Mystic coin price. They don't realize that it's a good thing for the game as a whole if Mystic coins have value. All they care about is the fact that they want coins and they're expensive, right? So they ask for nerfs. But, you know, people are very, very, very self-centered. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I think it's very hard to call someone self-centered and not seem like you're being rude about them. But, you know, it's just human nature. I'm very self-centered.
The fury is mine.
We all are when it gets down to it. I'm actually going to try and channel this. This is a weird mastery insight. I don't remember there being one here. Did this change after release? I'm happy to get a point, though. But is having a new race possible? Do you think we actually could have one? I mean, I did a video. Oh, no. Really? Oh. Are you serious? Fucking hell. I did a video on that topic. And it would be a very difficult thing for them to pull off unless they did a new race that was kind of like a copy. So, like, the Sylvari and Norn only require very minor tweaks on human baselines, you know, gear and stuff to work. So I think if they ever did a new race, it would have to be like that, which kind of detracts from the value of having a new race. We probably want it to be something really exotic and fresh. But I think other MMOs have proven well enough that you can get away with these kind of tacky new races, like an undead race that is exactly the same as a human. It's just different skin tones available, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, that might seem really cheap, but it might also be enough. All right, we're gonna try from here. No lean techniques. Oh. Okay, we're good.
Might makes me right.
Is everyone still on this map? We're very slow. Where did they go now? Well, they're all the way over here. Well, we already got that one, so that's good. I don't remember when we got that one, but we already got that one. We don't have to worry about that. We just got the purge gyro. That means we've got 10 out of 11 on this map. The only one we're missing is the vampire one. I wonder whether the guy's going to go there or not. Or whether we're going to go to AB. That's a tricky one to get to, and it's not nighttime. But Tengu are somewhat close to Char for armor and stuff, do you think? Do you think that the Tengu can double up in that respect? Maybe. Yeah, maybe they could. Maybe they could. Not that Char are done very well, but I think they're done well enough. Okay, so they're going for the vampire, I think they're saying in squad chat. Not quite sure how they'd want to. You can do a thing from this waypoint where you climb up and then you get to, like, up here and then you fly all the way up. That's a way to do it. but I don't know whether they care. All right, they're going to AB. You don't think WP can go to the vampire one, and that's the only reason I'm doing this run. Oh, okay, all right, so they can't do it. Or I can't do it, maybe because of masteries and stuff. I'm happy to move on. Why is this a bonus stream? Have you got all your gear? Yeah, we finished it yesterday. You missed the epic conclusion of 0 to Hero yesterday. We got it all done. You will leave the game if an easy mystic coin farm gets into the game. Wow, you'll leave it? You'll quit? That's pretty extraordinary. I can see people quitting in the reverse. I can see people have quit probably over like leather or whatever. And their own self-assured understanding that they know what the economy should be better than anyone else, so they're quitting because the devs are stupid, you know. But the reverse, if a farm goes away, or a farm comes in, sorry. Like you guys have no idea. I'm not gonna do it because I think it's too toxic and it's too. Are we going in? Are we coming in? It's too toxic. It's not the kind of person I want to be, right? But I'm sometimes, when I'm reading Reddit or the forums, I'm so tempted to run a series called, like, The Counter Jerk or something, right? Where the entire series is me browsing Reddit and picking out all the comments I disagree with and just ranting about the idiocy that people, like, express in them, right? And I'm not going to do that series. It's not going to be a thing. But I sometimes get so tempted to, because sometimes, like, I'll browse Reddit and I'll read, like, you know, 50% of the comments that I read are just obscene. And I just can't stand what people are saying. And I just want to, like, point out how absurd some people's opinions are. And I'm like, I have to share this. But I'm not going to do it, because that's not who I want to be. I know some of you guys like the rants, but that's not who I want to be. I'm not going to do it. But one of the ones I saw very recently was someone... on the leather farm thing, people were talking about how leather went back to the regular prices. And I was reading the thread about it, and there was a massively upvote, and the higher upvoted an obscene comment gets, the more angry I get about it, right? There was something where someone was like, ArenaNet is so stupid. Their philosophy when it comes to designing the game would be enough to make Rube Goldberg blush or something, right? And they were basically saying, ArenaNet, why didn't ArenaNet just revert their changes about the amount of leather that's needed for recipes instead of adding a farm, right? Like, he was like, it's obvious you should just revert their things instead of adding a farm. Like, and the point that this is now added space for a dedicated farm for specific content, a purpose, a unique design place for Lake Doric and thing for people to do. Whether the farm itself is slightly off or not, the fact that they created a market, right? They created value in a market and then added a place where people can go to fulfill that niche, right? Added another area of the game, another meaningful place to go to. The fact that the devs did this was so lost on the guy, and he was like, oh, this is just stupid Rube Goldberg, like, nonsense. It's like, how can you be so dim to not see the value in building a farm for it instead of making leather vendor trash again? How can you not see that they've added to the base of the game and places that players can go? Like... And some of the other criticisms that people have, like, you know, like diminishing return kicks in there. And they're like, how can they be so stupid to have diminishing return kick in there? And it's like, you still don't understand after all these years that they want you to do a variety of different things. You don't understand that they might want you to leather farm for, you know, 2 hours, an hour or two, have diminishing returns kick in there, and then go pursue a different farm somewhere else. You still don't see that? After, you know, years ago, they established precedent for that line of thinking with stuff like the COFP1 farm. You know, like, it's like, there's such basic things. It's good if there's DR there. It's good if there's diminishing returns on the leather thing. If it's so fast that it doesn't affect the market, I agree that it should be changed. But it's not backwards to have diminishing returns on it full stop. It's a good thing to have it on there. They just need to hit the right threshold. People never talk about, you know... The thresholds that things should be at. They only talk... people are so binary about stuff. It's not a question of diminishing returns or no diminishing returns. It's a question of having the right amount of diminishing returns on there. And people just don't get it. But hey, because people are whining and being, you know... being armchair experts... enroll the upvotes, I guess. It's a lot of things like that wind me up. Anyway, so yeah, that was one thing. So that's today's installment of The Counter Jerk. But yeah, like, I could totally see myself just giving in to the anger and the salt and just becoming this really pessimistic, negative, what's the word? not aggressive, but you know, like when you constantly rub people the wrong way. I can imagine myself becoming that, right? Where I have this series and I just pick out people's comments and I essentially shame people publicly, right? By saying, here's what you said, here's what tons of people agreed with, here's why you're wrong, right? And I'm not going to go down that line of thinking. I'm not going to do it, but oh, the temptation sometimes. That is succumbing to the dark side, my friends. There we go. That's another 2. Since most classes need their elite spectre raid, shouldn't this be on the timer? Well, yeah, that's why we're doing it. We'll add this on and we'll discuss. I want to do a video talking about all the good stuff, the bad stuff, try and come to an estimation based on what we've learned. And I'm going to see how long this takes to feed into that estimation. Man, you should not watch me on any podcast, WP. I say all kinds of stupid crap. I mean, people are people. People have opinions, right? Like, I'm very I think as the more into adulthood I go, and the more the more sure I am of my own opinions being the correct one, the worse I get. Like, I do need to accept maybe diminishing returns is stupid. Maybe they should have just, maybe I'm wrong. I need to, you know, remember that. I need to find some balance. Let the hate flow through you, WP. There's more than enough people who just sit there and spew hate. You know, one of the one of the PvP content creators who's quit the game now. I watched a video that he did where he was leaving, and I think he left with a really positive sentiment and something. It was quite surprising to hear him say. It was very nice. He threw a message out to everyone in the community. As he was leaving, he was saying, look, I used to be very pessimistic. I used to be very negative about Guild Wars 2. I used to just go on streams and I used to just vent. And I used to just, you know, people would vibe off of that. And he pointed out that, you know, that can be really damaging. And that you don't quite realize when you have a platform, if you do nothing but unbridled, permanent, constant cynicism and pessimism, it comes from a place of love and a desire to see the game get better. But it doesn't actually help the game. It can really ripple through the community and it can really... It can push people into a place where they're just like, yeah, fuck, why would I want to get involved with this game anymore? There's nothing but pessimism and negativity out there. So I think it is very important to keep a balance. I thought that was a very responsible and respectable thing to this was Health said as he left. I think that was something very important that he said as he left. I don't think got enough attention either. Most people when he left were just like, lol, you're leaving again, lol, and whatever else. But no, I think he had a very good point to make, buried in there, in the whether you know, ulterior motives or whatever it was all about aside. Would I recommend purchasing Heart of Thorns? Today, yes, I would. I think that finally, after 2 years, they have made it worth the money. At release, I think it was a questionable purchase. I think if you've never played Guild Wars before, it's definitely, obviously worth the purchase. If Guild Wars 2 was worth the purchase in 2012, Heart of Thorns is obviously worth the purchase because you get it all together. I know that free-to-play exists and muddies it a little bit. But yeah, in 8 seconds, we're going to fall down. It's going to be really cool.
Remember this. One day, our world's survival may depend on your willingness.
Ooh, we almost didn't make it. We also didn't have the waypoints, so that would have been pretty shitty. Yeah, it's not 2 years yet, but yeah. Most of this stuff and discussions in a game like Guild Wars 2 is basically just a matter of numbers. People often forget that because it's such a difficult topic to argue about. I think that,
Quickly.
I think discussion about the game can go further than just pure metrics. I think, you know, just because you're in a minority with an opinion sometimes, it doesn't mean you are wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, what would be a good example? The raiding community probably is still something of a minority in Guild Wars 2. Probably. But does that mean all of their opinions about balance and stuff is wrong? No. I mean, there's kind of an interesting discussion that people speak very black and white about, which I don't think they should. You see it a lot online when balance patches come out. And it's this question of, what do ArenaNet balance for? Do they balance around the average player's experience, or do they balance around the end game top player experience? And you see people on both sides of the fence of this. Some people absolutely, categorically, always state you should always balance for the very, very top end. All balance should be done for the absolute top end. Whether that's PvP, whether that's PvE, you know, like the Tempest nerfs. For average players, those Tempest nerfs this patch probably were not called for, because most average players weren't pulling so far enough ahead on a Tempest among other DPS classes for it to matter realistically. But, you know, the nerf came in, and that's a nerf that really only was ever relevant for people right at the very top, which is a very thin slice of the community. And the question is, like, who do you balance for? And some people will categorically say it is a fact that the devs should balance for the very top end. And other people will say it is a fact they should balance for the average player, otherwise you're going to alienate the average player. In reality, I don't think the answer is so easy, and I don't think I could ever go online and put myself in one of those camps and not the other. Because it's very hard to talk about, right? And that's a question of numbers, isn't it? That's a question of who do you cater to, the average person or the absolute height that the franchise can be at. It's a very tricky topic, and that general thing bubbles around a lot with a lot of what we say. You know, it's this. You know, my pleas for a Corteria overhaul are 99% motivated about getting new players into Guild Wars 2 and growing the game, and blowing people's minds when they get in, instead of having to throw tomes of knowledge and boosts at people to try and get them to ignore all that stuff and jump straight into the expansion stuff. You know, I think it's healthier for new players. Most current Guild Wars 2 players, most people that you see in this Zerg, most people who are in chat at the moment and stuff, they don't agree with me. I'm in a minority with that opinion. So who do you listen to? Do you cater to your existing... And you know, with any business, you'll know that, you know, it's a game of catering to your existing customers, but also trying to rope new ones in. So it's very tricky. It's very interesting to see that there is basically no hate with DPS meters. I admit I was slightly more on the side we shouldn't have them. I think we're handling it very... Yeah, that's quite interesting as well, Benji. I remember, you know, if we rewound the clock a year and a half, if we rewound the clock to the time of Heart of Thorns coming out, there was a lot of hate about that stuff. What was the video I did? I once upon a time did do a video about... What was it? I can't remember what I did. I did a video about DPS meters, though. And it was more, I wasn't advertising a DPS meter. I certainly wasn't advertising any kind of NDA breach or anything like that. I think I was just more in the video talking about the existence of them and showing off their capabilities. Maybe it was one of these basic ones that would just add up what you see in the combat log and stuff. Can't remember, but I did a video around the release of Heart of Thorns just talking about it. But just because it said DPS meter in the title of that video, there was a big hate train, comparatively speaking. You know, people will laugh to think, oh, WP doesn't really get hate trains, you know, but comparatively speaking, compared to most of my content, there are a lot of people who clicked that video just to dislike it. They didn't care about anything. It's just DPS meter, Guild Wars 2, me no like. And it was just like very, very, like, it's a real, you know, hot button topic, right? And you go anywhere near touching that button, you circle your finger around that button, you stroke that button, and the alarms are going off in some people's heads. I remember that, right? Like, and it's very, very interesting since that AMA information came out. You get some people who are like, oh, we're just becoming regular MMOs. You know, these same people who say that raiding is Guild Wars 2 losing its soul, all that shit. But it is funny how it's changed. There has been a change, I think. I think a lot of people have found, by the way, that running DPS meters can be kind of fun. That it... You know, like, remember when Guild Wars 2 came out and they were talking about how it was going to be 5-man endgame instead of 10-man? And one of the reasons for this was it was much more obvious what impact you were making in the 5-man stuff instead of 10 or 12-man or whatever. You know, DPS meter, and that's a valid point. The more that you get to see your impact on the fight, the better. And running a DPS meter kind of is fun because it helps you to see even better, you know, where you are lining up compared to everyone else. You know, like, I actually haven't downloaded or ran any DPS meters myself yet, but people I run with do it. And so I hear what my numbers are associated with them. And, you know, I had more fun doing the Overseer Challenge mode because people were running that than I otherwise would have. Because I was on a Necro, right? And it was really cool to see. Like, my boss TPS was trash. It was really crappy. It was quite low. It was like... I think I talked about this yesterday. It was like somewhere in the 15 to 20k range. It wasn't very good on Overseer Challenge, mate. But my cleave DPS was huge. It was like 35k plus. It was like really high because of the epis and stuff. And it was nice to see how, you know, exactly where I was compared to everyone else. Like, it just makes certain things more visible. And there is some fun that can come from that. We're going to have to kill this again because I missed that. If you wanted a DPS meter, you'd play WoW and other bottable MMOs. I don't see what DPS meter has to do with botting. What do you mean by that? Unless you don't... when you say bottable MMOs, I'm guessing you mean where you can cheat and run scripts and just play the game for you. Wow, this is scaled up pretty high. Holy shit. I'm still not quite sure why this build runs mortar though, by the way. I got owned there. Wouldn't supply crate be better? Just so you can dump it on a boss and let the turrets do their thing? Overload it every now and then? With alacrity, you can overload it more frequently. Isn't that a thing? Also, by the way, one of the buffs, like, even though, you know, if there was a buff to jump shot or whatever, the animation for it is too slow. And to take the rifle cooldown trait to maybe cast it more means giving up pinpoint distribution, which is not a good idea. 3% more damage to, you know, 5 other people around you is not worth jump shotting a little bit more frequently. No, I don't think that that's fair of you to say, Tratus. Tratus says the only people who don't like DPS people are people with no desire to improve. I think that's a very, very narrow-minded comment you came out with there. There are a lot of people who don't want DPS meters because of their experiences in other MMOs and what they think that would mean for Guild Wars 2. And I reckon for every 10 people you meet who don't like the idea of DPS meters to this day in Guild Wars 2, 9 of them have that feeling because of discrimination fears. That's all it is. It's not that they don't want to improve. It's that they're not confident in their own abilities and they don't like the opportunities for discrimination rising up. There are a lot of people just who play Guild Wars 2 because they didn't like how many different ways other MMOs allow people to discriminate against one another. That's why they're in Guild Wars 2. And DPS meters, to them, is a step in a direction that they never signed up for. 9 out of 10 people, that's what it is. It has nothing to do with their own personal skill or their desire to improve. It could have a little bit to do with their own confidence as an individual, but it's the fact that it represents... This is my interpretation of those people anyway. More avenues for discrimination in a game that they never wanted it. Breaking the MMO mold to them was getting rid of that. I've already gained what I can from this place of power. And I think it doesn't help anyone when you get like these douches that say, oh, you're just bad at the game. Yeah, it's not about that. And you're not contributing at all. Oh, guys, we've got 21,000 on an ant. They should have ants as ambient creatures. Listen, all right, I want everyone to do this, right? If we are going to the Crystal Desert in the next expansion, if ArenaNet do not replace the Pocket Raptor idea with scarabs, I'm quitting Guild Wars 2. All right? You don't ignore such a great, awesome, sexy idea as that, okay? If there are not scarabs, like scarab beetles and swarms of, you know, desert insects that fill the same mechanical niche as Pocket Raptors, you're not worth your weight as a designer. And I'm quitting. We need it. How cool would that be, though? Seriously, come on now. It'd be badass. These rolling balls of hell. Roller beetles, maybe. But no, I want small little things. Listen, who's watched The Mummy, okay? You like adventure movies, you've seen The Mummy, all right? Mummy Returns, the Scorpion King, right? The scarabs in those? Come on. Let's have it. I want to explore ancient tombs and release shit tons of them everywhere. You don't believe me? All right, maybe I won't quit the game. Maybe that was insincere. All right. Yeah, The Mummy's great. Apparently there's some really sad story about the, what's the guy? Brendan? Is it Brendan Fraser? Is that his name? Is that his name? I've never been good with people's names. Apparently there's like a really... I saw him in a really crap movie as well recently. What was it? It was with like Andy Serkis and like there were a lot of big names in it, but it wasn't a very good movie. It was... it came out the same year as well as... what is it? Stranger Than Fiction, I think? With Will Ferrell. And they both tackle similar themes. But it's this guy that can write read people into existence from storybooks or something like that. I can't remember. Wasn't very good. Don't give Reddit more to cry about. They say ArenaNet is lazy with copying enemies and skinning them. Well, a good idea is a good idea, okay? Simple as that. Why do I have chat on screen? Is that because I'm copying other people? Yeah, but it's a good idea. I saw other people doing it on their streams. I thought it was cool. I decided I wanted to do it as well. Boom. Not every idea has to be original. Take what works. Pocket Raptors. These were cool. These were interesting enemies. I think they deserve, you know, this kind of enemy deserves a place in the next expansion too. Let's not do dinosaurs. Let's do little scarab beetle things that will gnaw away at you. Yeah, he's had a rough stretch of films. Yeah, but apparently there was something in his personal life as well that was quite sad. Like his wife left him and took, I don't know, celebrity news. Speaking of celebrity news, right? One of the subreddits I follow, this isn't very Guild Wars 2 related, but it's pretty interesting. It's about online, it's about content creation and stuff online. I don't know about you guys, but as I grew up, right, I was always a right dick. I was very snobby. I was very, you know, I acted like a cut above to anyone who read celebrity gossip mags, all right? What fucking losers read celebrity mags? Get a life. Get your own life. Who gives a shit what celebrity has a baby with whatever, right? And I have a feeling I'm not the only person in that camp. A lot of people, you know, feel this way. Look at this chap guy. MVP. What is that? That's Killtacular there, baby. So I used to be such a snob about that stuff, right? So I'm on a subreddit called Out of the Loop, right? Where people ask questions about things they don't understand that's going on. They out of the loop and they get explanations. It's a bit like Explain Like I'm 5, right? So anyway, I noticed something. On Out of the Loop, there's a lot of threads lately about YouTubers. And about the personal lives of YouTubers. And I've kind of realized that this is more, you know, most people in those Reddit threads, I think, probably have been snobs about their parents reading celebrity gossip mags and stuff. And they don't realize that they're doing the exact same thing, right?
Oh, I heard that this YouTuber had a baby. Oh, I heard that this YouTuber and this YouTuber's girlfriend split up. Can someone explain what happened with this breakup? Can someone explain what happened?
Like, just inquiring about the personal lives about content creators. You know, like these enormous ones that get millions of views a video, blah, 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 blah. And it's just celebrity gossip. That's all it is. It's the exact same thing. It's celebrity gossip. It's like, people don't realize that they're the same. It's just because it's a YouTube person doesn't mean that you're not doing the exact same thing, getting too invested in someone else's personal life. Unless, of course, the channel is built off of their personal life. But, you know, like, and I have no problem with people getting joy from that, right? I really don't. But don't sit there and claim to be a cut above your mum and dad when they read, you know, about what was happening in, you know, ex-singer or movie stars or whatever's private life while you're doing the exact same thing, but just for YouTube, right? It's the same thing. Okay, we get a WP, you're a celebrity. All right, I wasn't really thinking about myself there. But I am interested in stuff like that because, you know, I am kind of in that space. Not as a big YouTuber, but as a YouTuber. You love Rowling's Twitter is pure gold. She's just trolling and shit-talking people? Really? That's funny. All right, what else are we doing? How many more we got? Is that this map done? Really? I've been so on autopilot. Good stuff here. Yeah, we're almost done, guys. This is more like an hour and a half, isn't it? Even less? Not even an hour we've been doing this. We've been going for 49 minutes. We've not even been going for an hour. I cannot take anyone seriously. Anyone who complains that that unlocking your elite spec is too hard, get fucked. It's about an hour. I'm sorry. I think that that's kind of a comment no one can justifiably make. I mean, and I've got no masteries really here either. You heard the WP and Magic Mike split up after Matt and WP had a baby. yeah, right. Congrats on the baby, thank you. The funny thing is, like, I could imagine if I had a kid, right? And I just kept it from you guys because, you know, I'm a private guy when it comes online. I like a separation between my personal life and between what I do as WP. I think it helps to keep me a bit of balance, right? So, you know, I am more cagey about my private life. You imagine something like that, like I'd hidden a kid from you. That'd be crazy. People on Patreon have had a bit more of an insight into my personal life. There's like, I remember I did a vlog when my grandmother died, and I what's it called? I was the speaker at her funeral. So, you know, I spent 40 minutes up in front of my family talking about her and blah, blah, blah. Like, and I talked about stuff like that, but that's about as close as it's ever really got. So if you like the celebrity gossip stuff, just, you know, what a shameless plug for Patreon, that is. WP as a kid exposed. Gone sexual. I got an elite spec entirely from spare world versus world proofs. Wow, that's interesting. Maybe that would be faster. No, the eulogy would be just a specific part, right? I mean, I was taking the role of, like, a priest or whatever. Woods, like, I delivered the whole ceremony, and I invited different people to stand up and talk about her. Like, her kids, like, my uncles and aunts. They would come up and they would talk about stuff. But, you know, like, I was, like, the chair, I guess, of it.
Come on, hit me. I'll hit back.
It's because we'd had another funeral recently before my nan passed away, and it was just like a random person, right? Like, a bit of advice, serious real life advice here. If any of you guys have a loss, right? Brother, sister, uncle, aunt, whatever. If any of you have a loss, if you're not a particularly religious family or whatever, and you're going to be having like a service done, I seriously, I promise you, that service will be so much more meaningful if it's a member of your family who does it. Because like we had a funeral where it was just, you know, it was just a random person, and we wrote the scripts and stuff for this random person to read it, this woman, but she wasn't connected to our family. She didn't know the woman who died, and you know, it was a funeral, but it wasn't that great because, you know, this person was saying, oh, so-and-so was lovely and was remembered by everyone, and we'll always remember their smile, and all this stuff. You know, nice things that you'd want to be said at someone's funeral. But you know it wasn't genuine because this is just a random, like, government worker or whatever who didn't actually know the person, that didn't have that personal touch. And we all kind of realised that at that funeral, that it could have been a lot better if it was someone who genuinely knew the deceased that was delivering the service. And so when my grandmother died, who had been living with me for a long time as well, I stepped up to be that person. Damn it, this fireman, what are we doing? Where is he? Is it bugged?
Nothing can bring me down.
Talk to it, back out of the fire, but keep the dialogue up. Nice, excellent. Believe me, your funeral, whatever it is, this is the Wooden Potatoes advice. I'm deadly serious about this. It might seem really stupid, oh, some streamer I watch online for video games. But seriously, consider it, because it is a lot more meaningful. The only tricky thing about it is you need someone with the constitution to. This is me humble bragging a little bit here, I guess. You need. It's not really a humble brag. You need someone who can do it, right? Because like most people want to have time to grieve at a funeral, right? They want to be able to mourn. They don't want to have the stress of getting up in front of a ton of people, and they don't want the stress of all this other stuff, right? They want the day of the service to come to terms with whatever's happened. So, you know, it can be hard to find someone who will be willing to do it. But if you've got that person, go for it. Deadly serious, in quotes. Brazil's gonna do yours and tell everyone they were wrong.
Getting healthy.
Here is Inks. Beloved Guild Wars 2-player. Wrong! Yeah. You joined back in this stream during a serious time? No, it's just advice. Sorry to remind everyone, anyone out there who's currently going through some grievance, sorry. You're probably looking for a bit of escapism, and I'm bringing up the real stuff. But there you go, WP life tip number 5. Keep watching the streams for more pro-life tips. You were doing this, and I started Iron Man on old school RuneScape. Ooh. You'd pay money to go to that service. Yeah, they can do like one of those. Can you lock off a YouTube stream unless someone pays you to watch it? That's a thing, isn't it? You can do that. Someone was asking me as well why I don't stream on YouTube. because I'd probably get much bigger numbers on there. I think it's because as a partner on Twitch, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to double up or whatever it is. Alright, so here we don't have leyline mastery, so we're going to wait. Oh, that's another part of 0 to hero we should actually think about. With no leyline, we can't do 0. But once you're actually raiding, you'll get experience so far, so I don't actually think it matters too much. Something to mention on the video probably, though. Beverage reviews and life tips. Yeah. You got your Calidbog statue today? Oh, congrats, Inks. That's awesome, dude. That's funny. It feels like people are getting them really quickly now. What is that? That's for being a partner for 2 years, is it? That was what that was? I was talking to Boots about this when Boots and I were recording a guild video just the other day. He was talking about them. And it looks like all the new ones are really small compared to the original one that I got. Oh, I'm so special, guys. Got the original wood potatoes one. It looks like, so how tall is it in Inks? How tall is the one that you got? Because I am curious if they shrunk them down a bit. Because now they've got to like manufacture more maybe. Can we actually break his bar? Oh, we can. That's interesting that it's not been broken then. Come on, he's almost done. There we go, good. God, this guy is so big. We need to stand up behind him, otherwise these autos and these abilities are going to really hurt. The smart player is the one stood back here right now. Oh, he's turning. Uh-oh. Alright, we got that up again. Let's break his brake bar again. Personal battering ram. Oh, guys, look at these rotations. So good. So should I just be spamming the Q? See, but that's a long cast time as well. It doesn't feel too good. You don't have a tape measure. Well, give me, you know, compare it to an item. So mine is like, if you've got like a can of Coke or something, right? Mine is like, and you stack 3 cans of Coke on top of one another. That's about how tall mine is. Is yours the same? Is yours Calidbog Origin and then there's the sword? I actually need to start properly calling it Eternity because I still call it Calidbog. Completely unironically, it's not a joke when I do that. I'm just an idiot and I'm forgetting what it's called. Oh, I saw your potato upgrade for the first time. You got a nice laugh. Once again, anybody who wants to make more potato face cams, go for it. Like, they will be on the streams. I like this new method of doing the potato faces. It's cool. Are we talking about our willies? No, we're not. Banana for scale? It's bigger than a banana. It's definitely bigger than a banana. Probably like 1.5 bananas. Alright, he took a long time. You're supposed to do a thing on the hero point chains there where you like trigger it and then the Zerg runs in after to abuse the scaling and it gets done really quickly. Alright, just 2 more. And Scrapper is done. Okay, he's pinged a waypoint, so let's
Getting healthier.
Wanderer's waypoint. Back up to the top. Oh, we're going to the Burnisher Quarry. Oh, man, I love the Burnisher Quarry. It's so cool. 2.5 cans. All right, no, it probably is the same size then.
I miss my town.
All right, that's good then. Yeah. I think that should be the same. 2.5 is probably more accurate to what I said. You will soon be able to sell games on Twitch. Streamers will get 5%. Do you think ArenaNet will do it? And would you be willing to sell Guild Wars 2 and Heart of Thorns? Yeah, I would. It wouldn't be too dissimilar to the like little links that we get already at the moment. I mean, I'm not really selling you the game, but the point is if you buy it from them and I was the one that sent you, I don't think that there's really too much difference there. That would be kind of nice. WP should be bigger. You want to see more of my fish? Yeah, I can make more. I can make more potatoes. Don't forget that Funzy did her tribute potato on stream. Right, fuck's sake. I need to go and look at that. I need to go see what happened there. I need to look at a tweet. I'll remember after this. I got caught in a meeting. Well, not caught. I had a meeting with the Games Master yesterday. How do we do this, though? Because I don't have adrenal mushrooms. Can I just rely on someone else to heal me? Does that even work? Oh, shit. That's not right. I messed that up. We're just going to get the benefit of soothing power here. And alacrity. Can we be healed by allies? I think there's too many players here. So we're not getting it. Yeah, I don't know how this will go. I can try. How long we got? 30 seconds left. Other people are taking the alacrity. I'll stand here in case anyone wants to dedicate. Oh, we got quickness. We might be dead, guys. Might not be good. We got guard. Oh my god, guard works. Wow, what? What does guard do? Is that damage reduction? Is that 50% damage? I thought it was just protection. Apparently not. No, this is it. Unless we get some alacrity or something, like right now. Right meow. Oh, we got it. We got it. Oh my god, we did it. Okay, cool. Alright, nice. Cheesed. Okay, we only need one more and we're done. The sneak gyro. But that's going to be... It's going to cost us 25 and we've only got 9. So that's gonna be 3 different things, no matter what way we slice it. Even if I get 1 extra, it will still be 3. Mushrooms haven't been as relevant in a game such as Guild Wars 2 since Mario. WP could be a huge streamer if he chased the big game stuff. Amazing conversation list. That's most of it. Oh, that's really nice of you, Bartleby. Thank you. That's really nice of you. I don't know. One day. We do it. We either go to the big game or we make the big game what we want it to be, right? There you go. I'll do my little bit. I'll try and help him out. Yeah, we need 3 more, I think. What else have we got here? I don't think there's anything at the Burnisher Quarry, is there? Guild Wars 2? What game is this? It's Guild Wars 1. Man, if only Guild Wars 1 looked like this. I was pretty disappointed. Yeah, let's do more shaming of people. Pretty disappointed in the Guild Wars 1 subreddit the other day. Just get a load of this arrogance here, guys. Look at this. And I mean, it comes from a place of passion, which is pretty good, a nice way of summing me up as well, I suppose. But listen to this. Unbelievable. Really unfortunate. Let's see. I actually downvoted this. I broke red etiquette to downvote this because it annoyed me that much. It's called Want to Force ArenaNet's Hand. Actually, there is a way. You might expect me to say something like this, but it really infuriated me. When I got to this, it actually had a lot of upvotes. It's now sitting at 0 with only 50% of people actually agreed with it. So this is the Guild Wars 1 subreddit. This guy is speaking about Guild Wars 1. He says this. He says, yes, I know right now ArenaNet couldn't care less about this game, and that this sub doesn't like anyone daydreaming about that changing because they don't see any hopes for that, and that's normal. However, there might actually be a way to make ArenaNet care about this game again, and that shining beacon of light is called Twitch. In the last couple of years, ArenaNet spent more than $500,000 on failed attempts to grow the Guild Wars 2 Twitch scene, and to this day, the numbers stagnate around the 100 to 200 mark, going up to 500 occasionally for a couple of hours once or twice a week. I wonder if this guy was talking about us. We push it a bit more than that, usually. Twitch is something they do care about a lot, but it's just not working for them. What we need to do is beat that number. It's not an impossible goal by any means. Just imagine this. Their shiny new flagship, the savior and reformer of the MMO genre, Guild Wars 2, is getting beaten on Twitch by its predecessor, a game 10 years old, which ArenaNet tries to forget and doesn't even update anymore, except for some minor fixes. This is a level of embarrassment and negative advertisement for Guild Wars 2 they just can't overlook. I know we probably couldn't beat them on a regular basis, but given a couple of times a month could be huge. Stream a speed clear tournament, GVG scrims, roller beetle record runs, whatever. Just make it a community effort and tune in once a week for these events. What is going on with the train at the moment? Seriously, what the fuck? Did I miss one here? What's going on? We can't wait for ArenaNet to do something on their own because they never will. It has to come from us, and we can't compete with Guild Wars 2 on our own. However, we can compete with their Twitch numbers. Pissed me right off. Like, what a... really, really wound me up. And there's a lot of videos that you can check out the comments. I'll link it to anyone who wants to check out the comments on it. Curious to see, right? Force their hand by embarrassing them. Yeah, right, mate. Like, that's gonna do anything. An actual person wrote that on the actual internet? Really? No way, I can believe that. Yeah, an actual person did. I mean, it comes from him loving Guild Wars 1 and hating Guild Wars 2. There's a lot of GW2 hate in the GW1 subreddit, like a lot. People will be right, you know, very, 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 It's probably the best place you can go on the entire, and this is maybe sad, but it's the best place you can go on the entire internet to find people hating on Guild Wars 2 is the Guild Wars 1 subreddit, or any Guild Wars 1 discussion forum. The best place you can go, it's not World of Warcraft forums, it's not Ion, it's not SWOTOR, it's not ESO, it's no other contemporary successful MMO. You will get nowhere better than the Guild Wars 1 subreddit, because it's all people salty about the fact that the sequel is a totally different genre. It's a different game, and it's not what they wanted. So that's where you will find the highest levels of salt. And, you know, vitriol, I would describe that as vitriolic, that post.
Quickly.
I mean, it wouldn't even hurt the company, though, to Sagiesian33. Why would it hurt the company for them to get bigger views on Guild Wars 1? Why'd they even be embarrassed about that? What, the products would stand on their own. It wouldn't mean anything. Oh, shit. I forgot. Rip, rip, rip. Red alert. Going down. Red alert. Should we... We'll go all the way around. Crap. You found people calling Guild Wars 2 pay to win in VDO. That's funny. Yeah, in VDO. That is funny. Stupid but understandable, though. Abandoning Guild Wars 1 is BS. Yeah, I know. I do think they had something. They made a lot of changes that they didn't necessarily need to. I don't know whether Guild Wars 2 would have been more successful if it adhered much more strictly to some of the Guild Wars 1 design ideas. Guild Wars 2 is a sequel in setting only, really, I think.
Another proud moment.
There's very little else that you can genuinely say. I mean, it's a shame it's not day right now. One of my favorite projects I ever did last year was making an active desktop in which I was filming this area of the world. It's beautiful. I think I'm still hosting it on my Google Drive as well. It might even be on the Patreon Drive. So beautiful. As an active desktop, oh, God. It's just a shame it's a bit resource intensive, most of the active desktop solutions that are out there right now. It's an active desktop, for people that don't know. It's this idea of playing a video file for your desktop background instead of a single image. A very basic thing, honestly, that you'd expect would be more sincerely integrated into Windows by now. But you kind of have to run third-party solutions, and none of them are very good either. But there was one that I was running, and I made one of this. It's so nice looking, guys. Oh, God. I should get that back. Why did I ever turn... I turned it off because of FPS and stuff. Maybe there's been some developments on that. The only thing about Guild Wars 2 that is currently going downhill is 1, the World vs. World community, 2, gem store sales. That's it. There is no other part of Guild Wars 2, and it's a vast game, that is going downhill. The franchise is at its peak. In every other respect. I don't think you can challenge me on that comment. Give me one place that it's also going downhill elsewhere. There may be balance decisions people subjectively disagree with based on their own, classes that they play and stuff. But overall, I think that obviously balance has been on an upward trend. Since Heart of Thorns came out and before that, if you look at build diversity, if you look at the place for different classes, even if individual things you disagree with, generally it's still on an upward trend. I think some people get a little bit too close to it and a bit too deluded by certain things. But yeah. Yeah, and the quarterly reports, I really do believe it's because of the way that the gem stores monetize. Oh, there you go. That's the Corteria bitchin'. If Corteria was handled differently, if leveling was handled differently, And the gem store was handled differently as well. With that in mind, you would see they would monetize so much more of this game. Boosters and some of the shit they've got on that should be insane money makers, ridiculous money makers, and they're not. I mean, they finally made one good change, and that's nerfing transmutation charges very recently. But I mean, how long did it take them to do that? They're not going to see the fruits of that nerf for like 2-3 years now. Seriously. Let's see, what's my wardrobe at? Oh, this is on my alt account. I only have 8 on my alt account. That's fine though. Yeah, if we do the... so guys, stick about as well on today, because once we've got all of our hero challenges done, we're going to actually... we're going to talk about the next series, which I think you'll all be very excited about. All right, we're off to the Tangled Depths. Guilds are a bit neglected, true. But, you know, the Head of the Snake had a bunch of new decorations that came in. Monuments was a pretty huge update. Every festival's had great decorations except the second Lunar New Year festival. That was a bit naff. I still think that's on an upward trend. Not a really sincere one. And there's a lot of things guilds really need. I really want to be able to invite people to the guild and give them a rank at the same time. It's so annoying when someone, like, messaged me on Patreon and they're like, hey, can I get in the guild? I'll be like, yeah, cool. And they're supposed to get a special rank, right? So I send them an invite, and then they might not accept that invite for like 3 days. And when they do, they come in at the default thing. And then I have to, like, imagine like 50 people all want invites all at once. All of them are going to accept invites at different times. People don't get their ranks. If I could just assign an invite with a rank based on it at the same time, it would be such... It would alleviate a real logistical nightmare for me at the moment. Because I feel really bad when people don't get the ranks that they deserve, but it's the way that the system works at the moment. We're going to grab some trees and things, because again, money is sort of a thing. I suppose we got some of these. This is alright. Which we can open up. Wow, we got loads of packed expedition crates. That's nice. Got a key there. Right, so far, we've been going 1 hour and 12 minutes for our elite spec. If we'd been a little bit smarter as we were leveling, by the way, we'd already have, you know, 6 more that we could have done while we were exploring court, and we would be done right now. Ooh. Didn't they say there was some kind of story behind the crystal? They did suggest it. It was one of the many suggestions that never ended up being things, sadly. I mean, maybe when guilds can hit level 100, we'll find that they code something in there, but it's a while away. Yep. Mastery Insight, that's nice. I'll spend that on gliding when we get... Why do we only have 1 point? I thought we picked up a point earlier as well. Oh, shit. Where did everyone go? This way? Are they... Oh, God. This is not a good map to get caught away from everyone. This is not a good map to get caught away at all. Boost and other stuff like that in the gem store are way overpriced. Nobody wants those. Yeah, but they're not just overpriced, but they're also unnecessary in a lot of respects. So, like, Inks is in chat right now. Inks has done some pretty good videos assessing the state of Black Lion chests. And it's really interesting to look at stuff like that because Black Lion chests could always have been done much better. And it's nice to see that they're finally looking at that. I think the problem is that, I don't know, this is total wild speculation from me here. But if I imagine that I'm a dev at ArenaNet whose job is to work on the gem store. And it's my job to, like, monetize the game. As an employee in that position, am I also likely to be someone who cares a lot about the game? Maybe not. So what I'm trying to say is the people who have that job might not like Guild Wars 2 that much, might not play Guild Wars 2 that much, and as such won't understand well enough why some things sell and other things don't. So they're not as good at their jobs as they could be or something. Do you get what this is the kind of speculation I should never do. But do you know what I mean? Like, kind of like... I think it would be very easy to just be, oh, I monetize this MMO. And someone in that position might be more likely to just look at what other games do and stick to tried and tested stuff. Like, oh, Wings sold a lot, so let's just keep doing that. And, you know, like, instead of because I really do believe that a lot of money is being lost in these smaller categories. But it takes a genuine understanding of the game to know why transmutation charges, for example, could be selling a lot more and why they aren't right now, right? Like, you need to know the game quite intimately. And are you necessarily, you know, like, I'd expect, like the raiding team and the fractal team, a lot of the teams that work at ArenaNet, I'm sure, I'm positive, give a massive shit about the game and really care about the game and understand the game. I'm positive. But, like, if you're going to pick any role in that company that might not understand the game that well, would it be that role? Do you get what I mean?
Quickly.
And that might be like a part of it, why the gem store's been stagnated a lot. What you want is someone to be on that monetization team, if such a thing exists, who also cares loads about Guild Wars. And it might not seem like that's a requirement of the job. Do you get what I mean? When in actuality, it's probably the most important part of having that job. Alright, I'll stop rambling now. I'm lost. Tangled Depths for you. I like getting lost in Tangled Depths, though. I think it's cool. Yeah, like, so Benji points out swim boosters. Do you get what I mean? Like, swim boosters. They were a thing. I mean, maybe they don't deserve to be a part of the discussion because they were an anticipated potential sale that could be made based on early designs before the game even came out, right? Like, when's PvP Season 6? Don't know. Couple of weeks, maybe? Month? You're impressed that I'm not dead? Well, it's not that bad. What do you mean?
Quickly.
I'm so late. We're finally down in the Confluence Tunnel. They're all the way over there. Fucking hell, guys. We got very lost. We got very lost. Oh, dear. We're going. Gliding speed booster. Yeah. Remember Black Lion harvesting tools? Like, those very, very old fans of the Visual Wood podcast will remember back when it was just a Guild Wars 2 pod. I got into an argument with Matt on one of them about Black Lion tools on the gem store when they were first being added. So you got this, this, and this. And I actually hated that they did infinite ones. Because to me, it's one of those things that atrophies the game, right? Buy this, and then you never have to deal with that mechanic again. The game just became a little bit more shallow. More convenient, but more shallow. And that kind of stuff wound me up. Matt was in the other camp, and he loved that, you know, there was this ultimate convenience thing. But the other thing I was thinking is very long term, that does damage to the gem store, doesn't it? If they hadn't done that, but instead they had sold ones that have, like, thousands of uses, like skin, like a skin that you apply, like, or whatever.
Ah, a fresh horizon.
And it's got tons of uses, but eventually it will expire. Guess what? Now you've got, instead of a one and done payment, you've got an entire community of people consistently going back to it. And I know some people might think that that's, you know, for some people, the idea of selling something on the gem store that can expire is like grotesque. And I get that. I get people who feel that way. But personally, I think that in some situations, it's again, it's not a binary world that we live in. I think that you can get away with expirable things, and they already do. You know, like a transmutation charge is something you buy on the gem store that runs out. You get a use out of it though, and that it would be the same for that. So, you know, there's little things like that I think that have been missteps throughout the development of Guild Wars 2. And the reason I was upset about in that Visual Wood pod is because it's one of those things, you know, once they've made that decision to put unlimited ones in, they can never go back on it. It's done. You only get to make that decision once. They made it and they can never go back on it. There can never be a patch that players will find reasonable where unlimited Black Lion tools are removed. Do you know what I mean? Can never be a thing. But they've cut down on their revenue forevermore. Be very, very, very careful.
Getting healthier.
Wings should be available as a special drop or map-based items. How do we get a host? Oh, we got a host from Doc Got Game. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, Doc. Welcome, everyone, from Doc Got Game. That's really cool. Have I ever hosted Doc? Was he playing Guild Wars? Oh, I should have advertised this stream then, so that we'd have more people. Oh, man, and we're not going to be going for very long either. Anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. You'll find my streams very different to Doc's. Doc's, like, a lot more entertaining than I am and does a lot more to hold your attention. I'm probably not going to be so good at that. That's really cool. Wow, thank you. How many did we actually get hosted for? Basically, what you're watching at the moment, guys, is I'm in the middle of a series where I'm determining, like, how grindy Guild Wars 2 is, how difficult it is to pick up Guild Wars 2 and get to, like, the end game and be ready for the hardest stuff in the game. So right now, that's kind of raiding in this game. And if you think about other MMOs, there's always this idea of a gear progression that you have to go through, and there's, you know, an order that you do things in. And there's a question of how hard is it, how long does it take, how long do you have to grind before you get to do what you really want to do. And so, well, there's never really been a great assessment of that for Guild Wars 2. And that's kind of what this series has been. I took a totally new account. I'm a player that understands the game. And I took a totally new account, and, you know, I'm seeing how long it takes to be finished. And we basically are finished now. We're doing a bonus stream at the end. This character is only 40 hours old as well. So we're kind of doing it to figure out where the game sits. And there, we just finished Scrapper, which was one of our big goals. So there we go. We got the Superior Rune of the Scrapper. So anyway, welcome, everyone. Yeah, this stream is 30% complaining about Corteria, 70% complaining about the personal story. Doc plays loads of different games as well. I'm very surprised that he hosted me. How much did he host us for? Why don't I ever really know? We've got quite a lot of viewers now. He must have had a pretty good one going. I had another host today before Doc. Did I? Really? Well, shit. Whoever that was. Welcome to you as well. So there you go. We're done. That took us... I feel really bad because literally I'm about to stop streaming. And this was an unadvertised stream, and this was like a nothing stream. We could have been like, you know, 1,500 at this point if we did this one properly. I missed the 1% saucy pictures. All right, yeah. So let's quickly do this. All right. So I opened the stream with this. A lot of you guys who are here now will have missed this. So the question is, what are we doing for our next challenge? So we finished that Scrapper, and really there's just food to look at, and we're gonna do one more bonus stream on 0 to Hero where we actually play a raid. We try and clear an encounter, which is very cool, and we'll see how that goes. But then the question is, what do we do next? So I mocked up an idea earlier, and I'm curious what you guys think about what that might be. So let's go add image existing. Oh no. Oh god, this could be a bit scary. Oh no, this is fun. So I mocked up an idea. We're thinking of doing a Guild Wars 2 Merciless challenge. The Merciless challenge would be pretty interesting. It's basically a really difficult method of going through Guild Wars 2. So here we go. This is Guild Wars 2 Merciless. Let's move chat in front. This would be the rule set. This is what we're going for. Yeah, we'll host someone. We'll move everyone along once we're done with this. But yeah, so and we'll host someone who's got very, very low viewership, and we'll give them a chance. Yesterday's host was really cool. I was checking him out for a long time. But yeah, so this is what we're thinking of doing. I'd love your feedback on this, guys. What this would be is a challenge where there's lots of Twitch interaction. You guys get to vote on stuff. You get to bet on when I die. It's a perma-death challenge, and the objective is to beat Zaitan, and then maybe even go beyond. Maybe we try and beat Morgemoth. We beat the entire core game, and then we beat the expansion as well, and then maybe when the next expansion comes out, we can pick it back up. So this is Guild Wars 2 Merciless. This is the hardest challenge I've ever devised for the game. When we first started streaming, we were doing something similar to this. And so basically you pick a class and you'd see which classes can actually deal with this. So this is Guild Wars 2 Merciless. The rule set, it's 8 rules. You can never dodge. Dodging is a fundamental part of Guild Wars 2. We wouldn't be allowed to do that. There's no armor, there's no healing, there's level appropriate, walletless, Iron Man, accelerated leveling, and permadeath. So I've got little images that describe what each of these means. So let's go through each of the rules, right? Rule number 1, no dodging. What does this mean? The player is incapable of using their dodge keybind, nor are they allowed to click the UI to perform a dodge roll. Evades that are tied to class abilities are still permitted though. So stuff like Pistol Whip, where you can evade as you using a skill, that would be okay, all right? All those kinds of evades are perfectly fine, but you can't actually dodge roll. And for people who have been watching my stream for a really long time, you'll remember that totally changes the game. That makes positioning a lot more important. And the point is that the core Guild Wars 2 experience is really shit. It's really easy. It's been power creeped, well, or powered. What's the reverse of power creep? It's too easy, right? Because we've power creeped, because the players have power creeped. So these little things would make it really grueling and really challenging. So no dodge. This might be a challenge I can never complete, by the way, ever, and we might give it up eventually. But so we got no dodging. That means from the character creation till the moment Zaitan dies, we can never dodge. I've never actually succeeded at this. I once played a Necro where we had to dodge once to save our life. The old challenge allowed us to do that. This challenge would be no dodging whatsoever. And on a squishy class, like a Mesmer, Thief, and Ellie, and Mesmer isn't super squishy, but for the purposes of core tier and leveling and playing alone, it kind of is in a lot of respect. So, yeah, no dodging. That's further compounded by the fact we get no armor. The player is incapable of equipping any gear that provides an armor stat, all right? So we're going to be super squishy the whole way through. If we get hit hard. We get chunked. Now, we'll be leveling up, so we get vitality, and we can equip trinkets and stuff, and we can equip weapons that have defensive stats on them, which will help us out, but we will be very squishy. So we can't equip helms, shoulders, chest, gloves, legs, or an aqua breather, I guess. Or an aqua breather's allowed, but maybe we don't do it or something. I don't know. Aqua breather doesn't matter. There's not going to be that much. Well, there is some underwater content. Anyway, so no armor and no dodging, right? Really brutal stuff. Next, no healing. This is the most extreme, okay? I mean, yeah, in Heart of Thorns, this would be, like, impossible to do it because the game's harder in Heart of Thorns. But check it out. So no heal. So everyone in Guild Wars 2 has a dedicated heal ability that they can use on the skill 6 on their bar. And for this challenge, we would not be able to touch that. So the player is incapable of activating the skill assigned to the 6th slot on their skill bar, known as their dedicated heal skill. However, passive effects gained from that skill are still allowed. So you could put a signet in it, right? And the signet would passively heal you. And healing through other skills, traits, and foods is also allowed. So you can supplement yourself. Different classes will have different capabilities to keep themselves up, but you can never actually activate that skill. All right. So, I mean, that can seem wild at first, but when you see that there are other opportunities, it's not quite so bad. Next, we have the level appropriate rule. The player must not be over leveled. You cannot go beyond the recommended requirement of a story journal step, right? So players must complete the story as soon as it unlocks. So I can't, like, start playing the game, get all the way to max level, and then go through it. If I unlock some story at level 10, I have to beat that story at level 10 so that I don't, you know, power creep myself. You cannot go further until we're finished. So as you guys know, that Guild Wars 2 has loads of different story steps depending on your choices. That's what Twitch would be voting on. You guys would be choosing our direction through the game. You can manipulate. You can put me into the hard quests or you can put me into the easy ones, right? And then when our character dies, we try again kind of thing, right? So levels, and there's the stipulation. If we do accidentally level up while we're doing something, that's fine, right? They're still allowed. So level appropriate. Next, for our challenge as we go forward, walletless. What does this mean? The player is incapable of spending any currency found in their wallet. Okay, so what does this mean? All right, let's log in. There's a thing in Guild Wars 2 called the wallet, which is where your gold goes, your money, your other currencies like karma, the gems, dungeon currencies, map currencies, world versus world, PvP currencies, all of that shit. What I'm saying is that on this Merciless challenge, this is the wallet here, all right? All of this stuff we cannot spend. So it basically means we can never go to a vendor. It basically means we only get what drops for us through pure RNG, which is sort of a thing. We also get rewards from completing quests and from leveling and stuff, so the RNG element is not that major. But it means we don't use the vendors, basically, any of them. Which is good, because it means I can just use my normal account and just use stuff from that. So yeah, that's that. The walletless challenge. Gold, gems, dungeons, map, currency, karma, laurels, and more. All right. And this also means that, like, login rewards and stuff doesn't affect us. Okay. Moving on, the next rule was Iron Man. People should be familiar with Iron Man. You know what this is. The player must complete the challenge alone, all right? I can't get help from other people. There can be no parties during the personal story, squads, or outside assistance of any kind. Now, when we're in the open world, it's an MMO, so we can't help people being around us, and we stream, and people will want to be around us, so that's fine. The open world isn't hard anyway, so that's okay. In the open world, other player assistance is permitted, but stuff like the trading post. We don't use the trading post. We don't use our bank. We don't use teleports to a friend. We don't use alternate characters on our account. We don't use the account inventory slots unless it's for cosmetic reasons. Okay? So, Iron Man. Last rule, really, is accelerated leveling. So, the point of this, we can waypoint. We can waypoint. Currencies can be spent on waypointing. That would just slow us down for no reason. We learned a lot last time we did this. We learned a lot. So, that's fine. And then we've got accelerated leveling, right? So, the player is permitted to use a Tome of Knowledge to gain a free level for every one real level that we earn. So, this will be in one of our account slots. This, in effect, is just going to half the time taken to reach level cap. We only have to level 40 times instead of 80, okay? And the first 10 of those are very quick, as you guys know. So, really, it's only 30 levels we have to gain. So, this minimizes the relatively risk-free open-world content we do. It stops it feeling really grindy. It dilutes the experience down to the challenge bits, the actual story that we're doing. So this is purely for the entertainment purposes, so that every run we do, we're not taking hours and hours and hours in the open world. Now, I've got over 1,000 tomes of knowledge, so I'm fine. So yeah, we will level like normal. It's just every other level we'll just skip, basically. It's like we give ourselves a rare candy every other level. That's it. Some of you guys might think, well, a Merciless challenge shouldn't use any tomes of knowledge. I kind of just view this as purely a time gate and nothing else. It's just boring. It's just extending the time. I mean, if you really want the so-called prestige and you're going to run alongside me and you don't want to use tomes, that's up to you, mate. I don't care. But I think that we should accelerate it where we can, because I want this to be entertaining to watch if we do this. All right. So yeah, and then of course the final rule, which is what this was all about. It's a permadeath challenge. Should the player become defeated, the run is over. The character is killed, sent to the graveyard. We mark who they were and how they died and where they died, and we go back to the start. Yeah, see, open world resident sleeper. Exactly, that's the point. Exactly. Why not just time everything between story steps? Because I do want to mix in there. People like running around with us, and I think that leveling should be a thing. And there is some risk in the open world. There is some risk. So, that's fine. This is basically RuneScape. I think this will be really fun. This will be really hard. This is brutally challenging, guys. Guild Wars 2 Merciless, very, very, very hard. And my suspicion is that only some classes can actually beat this. I don't think that all classes in the game can beat this. I don't know whether Mesmer can beat this, for example. I honestly don't. I think Thief might be able to with insane skill. Necro probably can. Guardian probably can with spirit weapons and shit like that. Ellie might really struggle. I think that this is a tough challenge. This is really, really gritty. This is hard. And so we would get to decide, like, what classes do we play? What do we do? You guys get lots of interaction. You win money if you can bet the level that I die at. Manipulate the story steps we go to. I don't know how long we do this, until we beat the challenge or until we do something else. But this is one of our ideas. Poiek says, I think you should try without accelerated leveling first and see how it goes. Yeah, but I already did. You just watch the old... Well, you can't anymore. They've been deleted. This was before Wooden Potato 2. We already did it without accelerated leveling. The old ones that we used to run were without accelerated leveling, and they were really slow. They were really boring. Well, they weren't boring. They were just slower than they had to be. It doesn't add anything, dude. There's honestly no reason to exclude the accelerated leveling thing unless you're just really tunnel visioning on the prestige of it or whatever. People are willing to play this. People are welcome to play this, sorry, without accelerated leveling. But for the streams, I think it's much smarter if we do it. And I've got tons. What if we die in the raid? What do you mean? Raid is not a part of it. This is the main story. The raid... Anytime that co-op is a thing, it's not going to work. Because my life is not about my own skill. It's about the skill of the group. And other people can get me killed for being bad at the game. Or likewise, other people can just carry me through for being good at the game. So there's no point in including raids and stuff. Mesmer has good block and evade. Might be okay. No, you're thinking of Chrono. This would be a Mesmer. Mesmer doesn't have that great block. I reckon you'd run like a Condi Mesmer or something and try your best with that. Get Condi trinkets and stuff. And let the duelist do as much as possible and channel as many blocks to, like the sword, the scepter, chaos storming yourself for ages or something. But they don't have that great block. And their evades are right with the sword, but yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Think you might have missed it. Dot Game, much love to you, bro, and your loyalty to this amazing game. Oh, that's really awesome, dude. Yeah, I did totally miss it. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I got to admit, Dot Game, I haven't watched one of your streams for ages. Ages. I did see you streaming 2 days ago, I think. Yesterday, maybe. I did see you around. Sorry about the crap timing. This has sort of been a more little thing. Just a little bonus thing we've capped off our last challenge with. Just a reminder, forget your Funzy Potato. It's also an Eclipse. Yeah, I will check out the Funzy Potato. I will sort that out. But there you go, guys. So that's Zero to Hero Bonus 1. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll close you out with that beautiful Thomas Newman song again as we leave here. Thanks very much for watching. And then after, well, if I'm going to play that song, everyone's going to leave anyway. So we're not going to get a very good host. Never mind. Let's see if we can host someone. Sorry, Got Games viewers. You're just going to be shifted onto someone else now. And what I tend to do is just pick someone random from the Guild Wars 2 section that has no viewership, but seems to actually care about their stream. And I host them. Here you go. So here's a guy with 1 viewer playing Elementalist. He has a face camp. It's an English/German stream, so hopefully you can get him to talk English, okay? It's a guy called Velex. All right. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Check out the Finding Dory soundtrack because Thomas Newman is a god. And I hope you all enjoy. And I will see you at the latest next Saturday. Maybe we'll get that X2 stream in eventually at some point. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.